Hey folks. Alright, so I wanted to show off of this build a little bit just to see what people think of it. I'm still messing around with it, but I think that this is going to be pretty sick as it gains in levels. So this is a interesting new take on cast on crit. It primarily focuses on Wild Strike. Now, the reason why I use Wild Strike for this is Wild Strike has a very interesting mechanic. Wild Strike has 3 abilities that can proc from it. You can check out the wiki to see exactly what they are, but basically there's a Fiery Explosion, which is an AoE. There is a Ice, basically like an Ice Wave, that is a projectile, and then there is a Chain, which is the Lightning Arc. So one of those 3 can fire and on every single attack, and the important thing to note about that is it is an attack. It is not a spell, and it is actually considered an attack. So, brokenly or not, this thing can actually fire cast on crit multiple times on a single hit. So you'll see on the tooltip for this it says chain 6 times. So this ability basically, when the arc hits, it can hit 6 targets. 7 targets technically because you hit the first one, and all of them can fire cast on crit, which is pretty sick. You'll notice I have a 6-link. This is actually one of the nice things about being in the Tempest League is that 6 links are not that expensive these days. I think I paid 11 chaos for this, which is nothing, because basically you go into poe.trade and you search for the links you needed. I needed 3 blue and 3 green, and I pulled up stuff and I got this guy. It doesn't have the greatest stats, but hey, it's better than a tabula rasa, which is nice. And with we have Wild Strike, so I have Arctic Breath and Ice Spear firing off as the attacks that go cast on crit, and you'll see the wild spray of attacks here in a little bit. There's obviously cast on critical, but then I have GMP, so I can fire a lot of stuff firing off. It also actually affects the ice split as well, for the ice wave that shoots out, which is really nice. And then lastly, power charge on critical. You could probably get away with using Vol's armor and going 5-link, so you don't have to do this 6-link, but it's cheaper for me to get this 6-link than it was to find me a 5-link Vol's. Beyond that, my gear is pretty self-explanatory. I found this all relatively cheaply. Again, this character is only level 67, so I'm not looking for anything amazing out the door that would cost a lot. This is relatively cheap to get started. I just have pieces that I have found here or there for, you know, a couple chaos here, a couple chaos there. Nothing probably worth 1 exalt or anything like that. I do have 2 daggers that I found. You basically go to poe.trade, search for daggers. This one I did 8 and above, then I got a little bit more greedy and got 9 and above crit, and just looked for mods that were related to spells. They're not perfect, but they work. So you'll notice that my DPS is only 800 on the Wild Strike, and that's because none of the damage is actually from that. All the damage I'm aiming for is actually from Ice Spear and Arctic Breath. So when I attack, they all fire off. I'm running 2 Auras, Herald of Thunder and Herald of Ice, and I'm running Warlord's Mark on it, so I can actually get endurance charges, so I can try to survive. And then obviously Mana Leech and Life Leech, because those are always valuable. Let's see, anything else where to go? I have Vol's Grace, I have Blood Rage, so I can get Frenzy charges. This is garbage stuff that I put on here. I have a Riposte, however you want to say it, and Flame Dash with Fortifies. I really didn't know what the heck to do with these slots. I probably should pick something maybe a little better single target, because there's I can run out of mana. I do need to run a mana flask purely for single targets that take a while, like if I'm killing Vols in the Dried Lake or something like that. Like I need time to do it. And the mana on this is kind of expensive. So mana strikes you'll see is 33 each. Wild Strike is kind of the redheaded stepchild of elemental hit. It has a high mana cost. So you kind of need some coverage of that, and you'll see I have some mana on hit in other places. Beyond that, I have a random ice guy who blinds and culling strikes and fortifies because he dies all the time as they're stupid. And then I have a typical cast on damage taken, a Mortal Cry or Mortal Call with increased duration, but I actually added Phase Run. This has been kind of interesting. I get frenzy charges relatively quickly, and turning this thing on, I had a green slot. I didn't think of anything else to put in here. And this has actually been interesting because not blocking my movement is really nice. If you're getting hit, you can get out of there real quickly. But the 80% reduced visibility has actually been very interesting to keep. It makes it so if I'm getting slammed from a range, then they suddenly stop seeing you and stop killing you. So it's been nice. I think it would be better if I use this for the purpose of like having the sword Juan's Fury or whatever it is that gives you like damage per etc. And then on damage taken, you run phase run, which loses all your frenzy charges, so you don't die. But again, that's just other ideas. So the tree in general is I started as a shadow. You could very easily do this as a ranger because you can see that I actually even went all the ranger nodes anyways. So you could do either or. If I could do this again and redo it, I probably would just do a ranger, and I would drop these introductory ones for a shadow because I don't really think it's necessary. But this was kind of a learning process. So I do have a fairly straightforward tree set in the beginning. I need to finish some things to kind of flush this thing out as I'm only 67. And I'm just kind of farming in Act 3 as I've been messing and buying gear and such. So I do have some things like obviously I need to get this extra frenzy charge, I need to get this extra frenzy charge, I need to get this jewel, I need to get, I actually have that jewel. I probably want to get that jewel as well, and then one of the big things I'm doing right here is I just got Fury Bolts, but I want to go down here to get the life for Golem's Blood. I'll finish that out. Those will be kind of one of my last life nodes. It's scary to say that, but it's one of my last life nodes, and then I'll probably get the jewel over here as well. I could even get the, if I really wanted, I could get the endurance charge too. I really don't like that I don't have the Scion life circle, but I don't really see an option to get that with what I want. I do have life everywhere else, so it's okay. I'm an acrobatics build, which is a little bit scary. For me, as I've been usually just a life tank in general through most of my characters in Tempest, but it's not too bad. I have 3,500 health. I am pretty tanky with Vol Grace if I really need to pull the oh shit button, but it does okay. So yeah, so I guess I've been talking plenty about it. Let's actually get this started. So, run in. Hopefully I get a good set to do this. So I run in, turn on my Blood Rage so I can actually get some frenzy charges. So you'll see really quickly that a lot of stuff fires out. As you see, my single target's a little bit more. So I really want to actually get more. You can see out there what like the different abilities are firing outwards. So yeah, that was actually a bad example, but you can see when it gets pretty nutty is how many when I have a lot of people on the screen. So if I have shared boon, you can see that I dropped everything and not even really having to pay attention. The damage on this is pretty ridiculous, especially if I was on Dried Lake. I can show you guys, I can pretty much one hit and it'll clear the screen. And even further, see this whole group was already frozen for me walking into it. So you'll see like hit like groups and literally I'm not doing much. So yeah, it's actually pretty insane. If people had good gear, if they were higher level, I mean this thing is only going to get better with time. I mean you saw it that I had plenty of plus charges that I don't even have taken yet. I kind of want to run Dark Fury or Dark Ray Vectors, whatever the boots. They give you another Fury charge, so I'll probably end up with 8. I do have the +1 just from the bandits, so I'll have 8 Fury charges and be able to run at that 40% speed and have all that boost because frenzy charges are amazing right now. So yeah, just to give you an idea. So I mean, it's sometimes a little bit random like that. Like there was a few times I didn't hit anything. Again, if you had better gear, you would have the ability to fire more often. But I mean, even just a single target, I mean, you can see like once it actually fires, it's pretty sick. Again, how many you actually have? Ooh, that hurt. With how many you have, you can see that like this guy's gonna be a pain to kill. I am hitting my mana every once in a while just because single target I do run down. So in general, I mean it is a little bit mana hungry. I do have 2 jewels that give +2 mana on hit, so that gives me the ability to kind of sidestep a little bit of the mana costs, and also running Warlord's Mark, obviously I soak up a lot of health here. So anyways, I just wanted to kind of post this. It's been a real interesting kind of test of seeing what Cast on Crit does with this ability. It's pretty nutty. So I'll run one more really quickly just to show you kind of the insanity of it. Again, I'm not even near the top level of what I could be. So, you know, once this actually gets into maps and such, I think it'll be just as good. Turn off my blood spray before I forget. So yeah, that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. You can see again, since it is an attack. Actually, I want to see if I can get a good arc so you can see that again. See, I'm only getting single hits here. I want to see if you can see it arced. That was a little bit of an arc, but you get the idea. Well, of course I get him right as I'm trying to finish this video. But he'll die. See what happens when it procs really nicely? He dies instantly. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this, and let me know what you think about the build. Again, it's not optimized. I still have tons to work on, but it is a fairly cheap build. I mean, this a handful of chaos here, a handful of chaos there. I didn't really spend a whole huge investment on this character, so anybody could play this, which is really nice. And oh, the last thing I should probably go over is jewels. So just for the jewels, all I really looked for is plus on hit, or plus mana on hit, I should say. So I have +2 mana on hit. Obviously, this jewel is amazing because I get crit from one-handed melee weapons and I get crit from cold skills. The nice thing about finding jewels for this build is because Wild Strike is a fire, lightning, cold, melee, one-handed weapon, and dual wielding option. All of those are crit mods. So finding jewels that can give you 30% crit is not hard at all. And then you get mana on hit. So basically I search for mana on hit and then crit, and then I find these things, and this guy even cost me like 3 or 4 chaos. It was real easy. Obviously it's probably underpriced. Somebody should have played it for more than 4 chaos, but in general it's not too hard to find other ones like that. And then the one thing that kind of makes the build work a little bit is this guy. So Fertile Mind basically turns all these dexterity mods into intelligence mods, which makes it so I can have the mana, or not the mana, the intelligence to cover Arctic Breath and Ice Spear, because they are kind of expensive and there's not a whole lot of intelligence mods over here. So anyways, hopefully you guys like this. As improvements for the tree, again, I would say I'd probably go a ranger instead of a shadow. I would drop this front chain. I don't need to go through here for the cold. I probably would drop that. I would actually go over here and take the projectile damage, because all my damage is projectile. So I'd take these 3 nodes instead and then finish this up. So I would go that route up here instead of just across here. It's a little bit more nodes, but I think it's just better in the longer run. And then that's really it. Again, I'm planning on getting charge, jewel, golem's blood, charge, charge, and jewel, and jewel. So like I am basically now in the free mode of let's make this damage insane. So I'll probably make another video later if people are interested. And again, thanks for watching. Hope you guys have fun. Stay safe. See ya.